Why am I here again? Why am
Well,
I having to suffer from this? I know the Rays aren't going to get any hits. They're just going to strike out or hit into double plays or weak grounders or something like that. So it was the air left the building very.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We have you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
So grab your favorite Rays gear and into the pod. On today's episode, we will be discussing the awfulness that is the series against the Phillies and how the Rays can look good 1 minute and then terrible the next. We also have some mailbag questions that tie into the ongoing struggles with the Rays, particularly at Sambrano Field.
Yes, and before we get to all that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. From awesome to awfulness.
Yes.
I think that's basically the situation we got in our hands, Mr. Weiss, because you go to Arizona, you win. You go to San Diego, you win. You come back home, you get swept by the Royals. You go to the Bronx, you win at the Bronx. You come back home, and you get slapped silly by the Phillies.
Yeah. And real talk here, I think they could get slapped silly on Thursday's game. We are recording before Thursday's game, but they have, you guessed it, a lefty on the mound, and Jesus Luzardo, who is absolutely dealing as good as you possibly can. And then Ryan Pepiot. So who knows what's going to happen with that, but I would not be surprised if we see a score similar to game 1 or game 2 of the series against the Phillies. I was at the game yesterday, the 7-0 drubbing. Are we qualifying that as a clunker, or would the Phillies need to score an 8th run to migrate into clunker territory? It certainly felt like a clunker being there in the flesh.
I mean, when it was 4-0, I remember audibly looking at the at my phone, because I was streaming it on my phone, and I was taking a walk, and I literally said, "Okay, then." Like, it was just like, oh, that's the game we're gonna have. So I just knew 4-0 wasn't going to be the end. I knew.
If you watched after the 5th inning, you need help. You need to find a hobby. You need to find something other than Rays baseball to consume or do, because I had to stay there because my wife is a Phillies fan, so she wanted to savor every moment that was for her hometown team doing work against the Rays majorly. But if I had my druthers, once the score got to 6-0, knowing that it was probably going to get to 7-0 and probably could have gotten worse, it ultimately didn't. But it was a point where it's like, why am I here again? Why am I having to suffer from this? I know the Rays aren't going to get any hits. They're just going to strike out or hit into double plays or weak grounders or something like that. So it was the air left the building very quickly in the middle innings, if you're a Rays fan, and people started to exit the doors shortly after that. So, the Phillies fans kind of took over at that point.
I don't doubt it, because it was very obvious of the Phillies contingency, which, they were very loud. I don't know if you can let us know what the percentage of the audience was, like split, but yeah,
I might have been a little over aggressive with a 65-35 or a 60-40, but I think it was pretty close. I think it was a majority, or a solid majority, Phillies fans. There was a lot of red out in the ether, and they were cheering loudly, as you can imagine. We actually did have a pack of really annoying young Rays fans behind us, and security had to get involved because They were yelling epithets and not so nice things. So we're trying to enjoy the game. I didn't call them out on that. Somebody sitting next to me called them out on it. So, yeah, I mean, the Phillies fans, as we were walking in and as we were maneuvering Steinbrenner Field, there was a lot of red. Sea of red, if you will.
I don't doubt that might be the same case tonight when I go to the game, Kev. As you can see, I am all decked out in City Connect jerseys because in City Connect wear because I need to change this whole thing about the Stein curse. Also, you said something that maybe if you're a new Locked On Rays listener, you would have been like clunker. Clunker, it's the bad games.
Yes.
The clunker are the bad games. Now, you said 7-0. Does that qualify as a clunker? It's right on the line. It had all the emotions of it being a clunker. It gave me all of that. But maybe clunker one more run.
It's about if we're not calling it a clunker, it's about as close of a clunker as you can get.
And clunker by proxy. Clunker by proxy. Yeah.
I think on average, even if the Rays are having a great season, say they're having a great season, you might have a half dozen clunkers. If they're having a crap season, which presently it's not looking so great, we could be double-digit clunker territory before the year's over. You know, I think we have to go back and figure out our definition of clunker, but maybe it is 9-0 or 8-0, but 7-0 is right on the line.
I think the thing with it being a clunker or not is like I said earlier, the emotions that it gives you. And I think those emotions that it gives you, it might be daily, but it also might be a season-wide thing. And for us in 2025, the offense is so, oh God, what's a PC word for what I want to say? The offense is so inept. Thank you. Is so inept. It's so it fluctuates so much. You know, the variance is quite high that it doesn't give you any sort of confidence. And if you're out there on the social medias and you're hearing those Rays fans and they're like, oh, they're going to be fine. I just ask them, how do you know that? You want them to be fine. And guess what? We all want them to be fine. But this team, have they given us actual concrete evidence that they are a good offensive team? And the answer is a resounding no. They have not given us that vote of confidence.
Right.
And I'm sorry, you can't tell me the 16-run game because, again, that's one game. I want to do what we talked about with Klosky last week. Go back and just check out the tallies of the two highest run scoring games by the Rays and see what kind of percentage it is, because the Rays just keep getting shut out, Kev.
Absolutely. And there's a little more I want to focus on this game before we get to a mailbag question or two. But first, we need to let the audience know something very important.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. They've got an easy-to-use website packed with helpful resources and latest product information to help you get the job done right. Plus, they've got an inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, so you'll get exactly what you need and delivered fast from coast to coast. You can join their free Trade Master program, which offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order by going to supplyhouse.com/TM, and you can start ordering everything, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Again, you can do all of that at supplyhouse.com.
All right. We also want to tell you that the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you're new to FanDuel, it is the perfect time to sign up. So go ahead and head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. So you can buy a couple tickets and go to a Rays game with that. Again, head over to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. They are the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, couple things on the game last night that I had the displeasure of attending based on the performance on the field by the Rays. Shane Baz gets shellacked again. He lasts 3 1/3 innings, gives up 6 earned runs, allows 2 walks, gets just 3 strikeouts, gives up a homer as well to Trey Turner, and his ERA has quickly in the last couple weeks ballooned to 4.93. Took the L, obviously. And it seemed like when watching...
We all did, Kev. We all took the L.
Yeah, we all took the L. If you are a Rays supporter, you took the L last night. And you took the L the night before, and you've taken a lot of L's so far this year. But it seemed like Shane Baz, part of the issue was he was either getting behind in counts, so Phillies had some favorable counts in their favor, or they were jumping on him early, or he was just hanging some breaking balls that the Phillies were able to take advantage of. And frankly, maybe a little bit is just finding opportune holes that just get past the second baseman or the shortstop, something to that effect. So that was the issue with Shane Baz. And then obviously the offense didn't do jack squat besides 2 hits. Interestingly, I thought this was a typo when I was looking at the starting lineup and looking at the video board, and I realized, oh my God, it's not a typo. Danny Jansen is hitting cleanup in this game in his 141, 510 OPS. Curtis Mead is hitting in the 5-hole, heart of the order, 5-hole. He's batting 151 with 403. Think about having Alex Jackson as your cleanup hitter. That's basically what we're dealing with. And I get it. The Rays are struggling against lefties, and you want to stockpile righties maybe higher up in the order. But to me, this isn't the solution. This isn't it. I would rather have, interestingly, Jonathan Aranda wasn't in the lineup. I know he's a lefty, but sometimes you have to give him an opportunity against lefties. So this was just this was a lineup built to fail yesterday, in my opinion.
I don't think I've ever been more perplexed by the way that the lineups are being constructed this often, this early in a season like this year. I don't know what Kevin Cash and company are doing. And some of it is, I think, them pressing. Kevin Cash is pressing. I think the managers, the coaches are pressing. Maybe the front office too. We don't know how much involvement they have on the day-to-day lineup creation. We think a lot. They say they don't, and that is Kevin Cash's to make. All right, well, we can disagree to that or agree to disagree on that. But it's stuff like that, Danny Jansen hitting 4th. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, and it's not like they can't do it. Of course they can do it. Just right now, you have to understand, right, that if you're seeing a big bleeping screen screaming 147 average at you, they see that. You know how I know that? And how I know that you know that? Because we've had players on the show saying they look at it. It's impossible not to look at the big Jumbotron.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in front of you saying, hey, you're having a bad season so far. So that gets into their head, and you're putting them in the 4th spot, in the 5th spot. That creates more pressure. These are not Excel data points. These are human beings. So it's really the managing of the humanness. It's not going to be equal to what the Excel spreadsheets are going to tell you. And I think there should be a little bit more humanness here, saying, I am not going to put this in a pressure spot. If you're going to put Curtis Mead against a lefty, cool. Bottom of the order, bro.
Bottom of the order.
Bottom of the order. If you want to put Jonathan Aranda on there, okay. Well, guess what? Manage expectations. Hey, you're facing a lefty today. We're going to hit you 6 today, big boy. Yeah. Don't worry. You're still in the lineup. Like things like that. But it is amazing when you saw that lineup and you're like, what is happening here? I will say this too, because BA said it during the broadcast. It's been now 3 days in a row where the Rays allow 5 runs or more. That shouldn't happen.
No.
And in the last 10 rounds of the rotation, so every started going twice, no pitcher has thrown more than 3 Ks. They're actually averaging 2 Ks per game the last 2 times out. Yeah. That's not a recipe. And it's not sustainable. And again, this is not to put the blame on the pitching because of bleep. No, it ain't the pitching that has gotten us to this point. But it is a point to be making that if the pitching is not going to be perfect, forget about the offense. This team does not have enough firepower to surpass any hindrances that the pitching has on a given day.
Right. They have to be picture perfect, essentially. And the fact that the pitching has struggled like it is, the offense struggling like it is, it's kind of an amazing thing that the Rays are still only 16-20. They're still hovering around the 500-ish range. And just to outline here, I'm going to go down the order and list off the OPSs that we saw for the Rays lineup. Yandy Diaz, by the way, is the only Rays player in last night's lineup who had an OPS above 700. 727, 687, 695, 510, 403, 556, 673, 486, 580. So it's not a surprise, it's not a shock when you see the Rays go over and almost get no hit in the last handful of games against whether it's an experienced starter or a rookie. It's just it's ugly. And honestly, I really hope the Rays give us some free tickets and free parking after having to sit through and experience that showing there. So
they're tied most for getting shut out this season, Kevin. 6 now. In fact, it's happened twice in the last 5 games. And what can you do? Like, I understand, Kevin Cash had a quote saying, like, we're at a sink. And if I had an answer, well, I would do that. That's the thing. It's how do you get out of this mess? And the first thing that everybody's going to think of is get better players. Well, you can't just shuffle roster the whole bleeping team. You should expect Brendan Lau to be Brendan Lau. You should expect Yandy Diaz to be Yandy Diaz. That's why you should
expect Danny Jansen to be Danny Jansen. You did not pay this man $8.5 million option to just have good framing metrics and throw a couple runners out. You brought him in to give you, play 110, 120 games, give me 15 dingers and an OPS of 730 or 740 or 750, something to that effect.
Something
and that
manageable,
obviously is not going to happen. So something the catcher curse continues.
The struggles, and it's the struggles for everybody. Like you're saying, it's basically Jonathan Aranda, and we've had good contributions from the young guys, but they dried up lately because hey, that's baseball. That's 162 games, but that offense should not hinge on Aranda and the young guys. It should be hinging on Yandy. It should be hinging on Brendan Lau, and it should be hinging on Junior Caminero, who honestly
he's cooling off.
Did he ever get hot? Those 3 home runs in a row were nice, but like this guy is supposed to be the next like big thing. And
it's tough when you don't have any protection either.
You don't.
He's supposed to protect some guys, but other guys are also supposed to protect a 21-year-old, I would think.
Exactly. That's where Yandy and Brandon Lau come in. I really just want to take a moment here in front of everybody and look at Caminero's numbers, because I really want to just highlight here. Okay, so average 242, 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, 695 OPS.
Yeah.
No, man, that's not going to cut it. And I know it's only been 34 games for him.
Yeah.
It's small sample size, of course, but that needs to start to get up there, man.
Right. I think his power metrics are in line with what I expected. The 6 home runs, the 6 doubles, the 440 slug. I think, as he grows, and I don't know if he's going to get stronger. He's about as strong as anybody could be, but as he gets more refined as a major league player, that will uptick. But the biggest bugaboo is that ghastly on base percentage. The on base percentage is basically mirroring the average. A 271 on base percentage, a guy with that type of
can't happen
power stroke. You need to learn to take a walk. This might be the only time I say this, but maybe share notes, share a spreadsheet with Taylor Walls on how to take a walk every now and again.
Now, that deserves a good pause to reflect upon that, because we still need some mailbag cues to be answered. But first, Kevin, let's tell the folks something very, very important.
Yes, let's do. All right, it's that time. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Go ahead, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, it is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. What are you waiting for? Go ahead, get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. What's really cool about this too is no shells. So it makes that grab and go so much easier. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios, it is the snack that works as hard as you do. So go ahead, visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So good. I'll repeat it again. wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, Ulises, we ran a little bit long on Wednesday's disaster, but we do have time for one mailbag question. We do appreciate all the mailbag questions and voice memos, so keep them coming. LockedOnRays@gmail.com. You can also send us a voice memo as well, or if you just want to DM us or message us on the social medias, we appreciate that. But this question comes from Rachel from Tampa, who has reached out to us many a time, and we appreciate it. Rachel says, "Hi, Locked On Rays podcast. After a disappointing and tremendous defeat against us at home by the Phillies, I am starting to get concerned about the Rays offense underperforming at home as opposed to on away games where they have done well. I'm starting to see a trend where the Rays offense will not produce and will start to get almost no hit or shut out. It is almost becoming a pattern habit. I have also not been very impressed with Christopher Morel. If you were to reconstruct the Rays offensive lineup, would you say it is time to call up Eloy Jimenez?"
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for writing to us again. It is becoming a habit that it's basically, oh my gosh, are we going to get no hit today? I mean, again, yesterday with Christopher Sanchez, they only got 1 hit against Sanchez. So, I
guess it's better than getting no hit.
Yeah, I mean, but the standard
that's going to happen this year, by the way. I'm going to call it right now.
We're going to get no hit.
There will be a no-hitter against the Rays. There may even be a perfect game against the Rays, as far as I'm concerned.
We're going to get no hit. I think as a fan, as a Rays fan, you should know. Yeah, let's put that. You know what? That'll be the comment section. Do you think the Rays are going to get no hit? And why do you believe yes? Because I'm sorry, how do you believe no? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen against the Rays.
Dallas Braden is going to come out of retirement and do his best.
Of course he is, just like Edwin Jackson and so many others. She talked about your boy Eloy Jimenez. Yeah. I know you keep tabs on Eloy. How's he doing? Are you feeling comfortable with what Eloy has been doing in AAA lately? Or
it looks like he's improving. His numbers aren't bad. He's got a 261 average, 333 on base percentage, 378 slug, 712 OPS. He's got 2 homers and 8 doubles in Durham. That's through 32 games. I'm at the juncture where let's try anything at this point. If you're willing to hit Danny Jansen and Curtis Mead 4th and 5th, respectively, whether it's because Chris Sanchez's pitch profile matches up with the swing profile of those two guys, or you think they might have a little bit of an edge, lefty versus righty, or it'll be a confidence and momentum boost for it. I'm at the point where, yeah, let's call up Eloy Jimenez, pay him a couple $1 million, and see what he can do at the big league level. I know that the minor league numbers for him aren't earth-shattering, but there could be many reasons for that. One, he could be working or tinkering on certain items with his swing where, the final stat line doesn't necessarily matter. He could be, I haven't looked, I don't look at Durham every day, but maybe he's getting pitched around a little bit as well. Opposing pitchers see, this guy, Eloy Jimenez, I know him. I've heard of him. He's got a big contract and he's won a Silver Slugger before. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this guy. And maybe it's just a product of, he's stagnant or static at AAA, that he feels like he can be more productive and do better at the big league level. So he's just kind of holding forward until he eventually gets the call. And I would argue or suggest that, some of the tools to success are not the same from the major league level to the minor league level. He's probably not having the level of coaching and data and analytics and some of the comforts of what it's like to be a big league player that he's comfortable to. So I say all that to say this. I could see him getting called up and putting up better numbers with the Rays than he is with Durham right now. Or if it's the same numbers that he's putting up with Durham or very similar numbers, I'm totally fine with that because there was only one guy in the lineup yesterday with an OPS above 700.
Let me put Weiss on the clock here. Is it time to call him up?
Yes. Yes, it is. Call him up. Be done with it.
I'm going to put you even on a harder spot here. Who goes down?
That is a good question, and I am going to venture to say I think Curtis Mead would have to be the odd man out.
I think so too.
Yeah. Although, I mean, it's almost like take your pick at this point. We've been very bullish on Cam Meisner, but I think he's mired in an 0 for 16 slump. He's got that first taste of success. Teams make an adjustment to him, and he's trying to figure all that out. But
the thing is, with Meisner, he can still get day-to-day at bats.
Yes,
we're not seeing Curtis Mead getting a day-to-day at bats, and that's just wrong, man. It's not right to see a young guy that has the profile that he has shown all throughout minor leagues, and then just throw it all away because of 240 plate appearances across 3 seasons. Like, I know there's a lot of vitriol right now going against him on social media, but I think it's not warranted because that's exactly the same narrative that those same people were talking about Jonathan Aranda, and who's Jonathan Aranda now? Yeah. So right now, I feel like Curtis Mead just needs to just take a step back. Well, it looks, the body language right now for Curtis is not positive. So I think take a step back, get your daily at-bats, start to feel good again. Eloy, come up. Let's see what you got. And just try to change it up a little bit because this offense is not fun to watch right now. And I'm going to pay money right now to watch this offense.
Yes, you are. And Jonathan Aranda was a guy who's been through the Durham shuffle, gets called up, sent back down, called up, sent back down until he finally found his true opportunity. But and I like what I've seen from Curtis Mead, at least defensively. I think he's made some really slick and sure-handed plays, but that's not going to cut it. Right now, you need a bat. You need a guy that has the capability and the strength to snipe through the crazy wind of Steinbrenner Field and maybe get us a homer or two. Because, like I said, other teams don't seem to be having an issue with that. Trey Turner hasn't had an issue with it. Kyle Schwarber hasn't had an issue with it. Other guys haven't had an issue with it. Alec Bohm hasn't had an issue with it. In fact, they don't have an issue. Not only do they not have an issue with it, they're hitting dingers the other way. They're going Oppo Taco, which is what we saw on Tuesday. So I'll just leave it at that. In the meantime, Ulises, enjoy your game. And to the audience, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Please win today. Please win today.